What's up guys, konnichiwa, Ryan here, and welcome to the ultimate free Japanese learning guide here on YouTube. If you have always wanted to learn Japanese or want to take your Japanese to the next level, please feel free to subscribe and leave me any questions or comments you may have down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you've been following along, then you know that we've officially entered our intermediate section of our Japanese learning series. But if you're still a beginner, don't worry because I made a special beginner playlist just for you. You can go ahead and check that out and get yourself caught up so you can understand what's going on in this video. In this video, we are going to be going over plain form, which can also be thought of as casual conversation or casual speech. If you remember in our beginner section, all words are conjugated with des, mas at the end of the words, otherwise known as formal speech or keigo. We actually really use that form of speech when talking to somebody older than us or at a higher level than we are, not with friends or with people who are close to you. So without further ado, for this video in particular, we are going to be going over the casual conjugation or plain form of verbs first. So let's jump right into my notebook so we can see what's going on. Alright guys, so welcome to my notebook. Here we have our matrix that you may recognize from our beginner series. Again, we have our affirmative, negative, and present/future and past conjugation rules here. Alright, so starting at this upper left corner, we have affirmative, present, future. So this is pretty much like mas, if you remember mas. You should, if not, go back and watch that video right now and understand that first. All right, so getting right into it, we have our rule here, and it says change the I sound of the stem to the U sound version, and or add ru to A sound stems and other exceptions. So hopefully, of course, you remember that all verbs have a stem plus an ending, right? So we're just going to take one of our most commonly used words, and that is ikimasu, okay? So ikimasu. All right guys, sorry if I got cut off. I got a phone call right when I was recording. So anyway, if you didn't already see, we had ikimasu here. We noticed ki is the final sound of the verb stem, and ki is an I sound, correct? So we just changed the ki to a ku in the same column because we changed the I sound to the U sound version. So ki becomes ku and then we drop the mas. So ikimasu becomes iku, and that is the same thing. All right, we'll take another example and we'll just use all right, so we will take another example. We'll just use the verb yomimasu, which is to read. Yomimasu. Okay, so yomimasu, we see the mi here is the final sound in the verb stem. So the I sound changes to the U sound, and then we drop the mas. So yomimasu becomes yomu. Yomu. Because mu is the U version of mi, right? It's in the M column. Get it? We'll take another example. So the second rule here is add ru to A sound stems and other exceptions. So probably the most common verb is tabemasu. So be is an A sound, right? So all we do is just add ru. We don't really have to conjugate it. So tabemasu becomes taberu, because we're just adding ru to the A sound. All right, pretty easy. I'll give you a bonus right now. It's a very, very common exception, and that is the word shimasu. So shimasu is an exception. You just need to know it, but it's very easy. All you say is suru instead of shimasu. Shimasu becomes suru, and you just need to know it as is. All right. And again, for this rule, add ru to A sound stems and other exceptions. So if you remember in our last video, another common exception is okimasu, which is to wake up. So we have okimasu here. Okimasu. And we see that ki is the final sound in the verb stem, but okimasu is an exception. So instead of saying oku, it's okiru. All right, so it's o, ki, and then we just add ru to that. Okiru. All right, moving on to negative present and future. Okay, so the rule here is change the e sound in the stem to an a sound version and add nai. So nai is actually the same thing as arimasen. Remember, or masen, it's the same thing. It's just a negative meaning type of word, nai. Okay, so we'll use the same verb as an example. So ikimasen, ikimasen becomes the ki becomes the a version, so ika, and then we add nai, so ikanai, 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 ikanai. Okay, so we have the ka here. So we'll just take this other verb here as an example. So yomimasen, yomimasen. We notice the mi is the final e sound in the stem, so the mi becomes ma because it's the a version of it, and then we just add nai. So yomimasen becomes yomanai, just like this, yomanai. All right, and our other rule here, just add nai to a sound stems and exceptions. All right, so our a sound verb that we used in the previous box is tabemasu, right? So here we have tabemasen, tabemasen, and because it's an a sound, we don't do anything, we just add nai to that. So tabenai, tabenai. All right, shimasu is just shinai, shimasen, shimasen is just shinai. And again, for okimasu, we say okinai because it's an exception, okay? So just be careful of that verb and a few other verbs. If you need a refresher, go back and watch that last video where I talk about some common verb exceptions to be careful for. But anyway, for this example, okimasen becomes okinai. Okay, that's I don't wake up. All right, moving on to the bottom portion now. We have our affirmative past. And the rule here is we use te form, but use ta instead of te. So, if you didn't watch our last video, or if you don't know what te form is yet, please go and click that link and go back and watch that, because you're gonna need to know te form completely, thoroughly, from now on, okay? So this is one of those examples of how te form is coming up again. So instead of te form, it's ta, all right? So instead of ichiritte, bimininde, kiite, gide, it's ichiritta, bimininda, kita, gida, okay? If you don't know what I mean, again, go watch that video again. So we will use tachimasu. Okay, tachimasu to stand up. Tachimashita is past tense. Tachimashita. So we notice to conjugate the te form of chi, it's chisaitsu and te, but instead of te, we use ta. So tachimashita becomes tatta. Okay, if te form of tachimashita is tatte, then past tense of this conjugation is actually tatta. All right, so we'll use another one. Suwarimashita. So remember, te form of suwarimasu is suwatte, but instead of te, it's ta. So suwarimashita becomes suwatta. Okay, all right, so let's just use another common verb. We have yobimashita. We notice it's a B here, so we conjugate yobimasu as yonde as te form, but instead of de, it's nda. So yobimashita becomes yonda. Yonda. That's to call somebody. Like to call someone over here. All right, we have a little more space here, so let's do another example. Let's use this word, arukimashita. Arukimashita becomes aruita, because te form is aruite, so ta form is aruita. Okay? Let's just use this word shimashita, just because that's a very good word. So shimashita just becomes shita. Just like that. Okay? Because te form of shimasu is shite, but ta form is shita. Okay? And last but not least, we have our negative past. So that is masen deshita, right? So our rule is same as above, but use nakatta instead of nai. All right? So let's take the verb yarimasu, which is to play or to do. So we have yarimasen deshita. Yarimasen deshita. So we notice the ri is the final sound in the verb stem. Masen deshita is just the ending, right? So the ri becomes the da instead, because it's the a version of the i sound. And then we just add nakatta. So yarimasen deshita just becomes yara nakatta. Yaranakatta. Okay? Let's use... Alright, so let's use another one. We have our common verb, which is ikimasen deshita. We notice the ki is the final sound, so ki becomes ka, and then we add nakatta. So ikimasen deshita just becomes ika nakatta. Ikanakatta. Okay, so let's use another one. We have kakimasu, or in this case kakimasen deshita, so kaki, and then masen deshita. So again we have ki, which is the e sound in the verb stem, so ki becomes ka, and it's then you add nakatta. So kakimasen deshita becomes kaka na katta. Kakanakatta. I didn't write. Okay? Let's use another one. Okay, let's use the word sleep. So nemasu is to sleep, right? So nemasen deshita is I didn't sleep. Nemasen deshita. So ne is a single sound verb stem. So because it's the same as above, all we do is add nakatta. We don't really have to worry about anything. So nemasen deshita just becomes ne nakatta. Ne nakatta. Just like that. We have a little more space. Let's use one more example for the sake of repetition. And let's use... what word shall we use? Okay, let's use asobimasen deshita. I didn't hang out, or I didn't play. Okay, so asobimasen deshita. The B is the last sound in the verb stem, so B becomes the A version, which is ba. So asobimasen deshita becomes ba nakatta. 遊ばなかった。遊ばなかった。Alright? Alright, guys, I know that might have been a lot of information, especially for those of you who might not have heard of this before. But hey, if you're still here, if you've made it to the end, good job, yoku dekimashita, congratulations, because that was really a lot of information. I know it might be kind of tricky right now, but again, please watch this video multiple times and review it and practice it over and over, because this, again, this intermediate phase that we're entering right now, it's really going to skyrocket your understanding of the Japanese language. So without further ado, if you found this video useful by any means, please feel free to give it and Totoro a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me any questions or comments you may have down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. ありがとうございます。また次の動画でお会いしましょう。じゃあ、またね。